The cold morning air bit at David Goggins's skin as he pounded the pavement, sweat mixing with the tears he refused to shed. He had been running for hours, his body screaming for him to stop, his mind begging for relief. But Goggins didn't stop. He wasn't just running from the pain of his aching legs, he was running from a past that had tried to break him, a past filled with poverty, abuse, and self-doubt. Growing up in a violent household, Goggins had every excuse to give up on himself. Bullied at school, struggling with obesity, and burdened by a lack of direction, he hit rock bottom. But in the darkest moments of his life, David Goggins made a decision that would change everything. He stopped running from the truth and started running toward his potential. He vowed to stop being a victim of his circumstances and instead take control of his destiny. From that moment, he pushed himself beyond what anyone thought was possible. Goggins went on to become a Navy SEAL, an ultra-marathon runner, a world record holder, and a symbol of mental toughness and resilience. His book, Can't Hurt Me, is more than just a memoir. It's a guide for anyone looking to transform their life through discipline, perseverance, and sheer willpower. In this episode, we'll explore 10 powerful lessons from Can't Hurt Me that you can apply to your own life. These lessons will help you face your fears, overcome self-doubt, and unlock the hidden strength you didn't know you had. Let's dive into the first transformative lesson. Face the truth head-on. 1. Face the truth. Head-on. The first and most critical lesson from David Goggins' journey is to face the truth, no matter how uncomfortable or painful it may be. For years, Goggins avoided confronting the harsh realities of his life. He blamed his circumstances, hid behind excuses, and numbed his pain with food and distractions. But nothing changed until he forced himself to look in the mirror, literally and figuratively, and acknowledge his flaws, mistakes, and limitations. Goggins describes a pivotal moment when he stood in front of his bathroom mirror and made an honest inventory of his life. He was overweight, unmotivated, and trapped in a cycle of self-pity. Instead of running from these truths, he wrote them down on sticky notes and plastered them around his house. These notes served as constant reminders of what needed to change. He called this practice the accountability mirror. The Stoics, much like Goggins, believed that self-awareness is the foundation of growth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Facing the truth isn't about self-criticism or wallowing in regret. It's about taking ownership of your life. When you stop denying reality, you gain the clarity and power to make meaningful changes. To apply this lesson, start by conducting your own self-inventory. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding? What are my biggest flaws or weaknesses? What excuses am I making for myself? Write your answers down. Be brutally honest, but also compassionate with yourself. The goal isn't to tear yourself apart. It's to shine a light on the areas that need work. Once you've faced the truth, take action. Identify one specific habit, behavior, or mindset that you can start improving today. For Goggins, it was his weight and lack of physical fitness. For you, it might be procrastination, self-doubt, or neglecting your health. Choose one area and create a plan to tackle it head-on. Facing the truth also requires humility. Accept that you're a work in progress and that growth takes time. The Stoics emphasized this principle with Seneca writing, "It is the power of the mind to be unconquerable if it has withdrawn into itself and is content with itself." This means embracing your imperfections while committing to constant improvement. Remember, the truth might be painful, but it's also liberating. When you confront your flaws and mistakes, you take back the power they've held over you. You're no longer a victim of your circumstances. You're the architect of your future. As Goggins proved, the hardest truths often lead to the greatest transformations. Ask yourself, what truths am I avoiding, and how can I start facing them today? By doing this, you take the first step toward breaking free from limitations and unlocking your full potential. 2. Don't let your past define you. David Goggins' story is a powerful reminder that your past doesn't have to dictate your future. He grew up in an abusive household, endured relentless bullying, and faced crushing poverty. By the time he was in his 20s, he was stuck in a dead-end job, overweight, and deeply unhappy. It would have been easy for him to use his past as an excuse to stay stuck. Instead, he chose to rewrite his narrative. Goggins teaches us that no matter how tough your past was, it doesn't have to be the reason you can't succeed. In fact, he believes your struggles can become your greatest source of strength. He said, "We all have the ability to come from nothing to something. The key is to stop viewing your past as a limitation and start seeing it as fuel for your growth." One of the first steps to breaking free from the grip of your past is to stop identifying with it. Many people fall into the trap of defining themselves by their hardships. I'm this way because of what happened to me. While acknowledging your experiences is important, letting them shape your identity keeps you locked in the same patterns. The Stoics echoed this idea, with Marcus Aurelius writing, "Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears." It's not the events of your past that hold you back, but your attachment to them. To let go of your past, start by reframing your perspective. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What did this teach me?" For example, if you've faced failure, use it as a lesson in resilience. If you've experienced rejection, let it sharpen your understanding of what truly matters. Every hardship carries a lesson, but it's up to you to find it. Goggins also emphasizes the importance of taking ownership. No matter how difficult your past was, blaming it for your current situation keeps you powerless. When he decided to turn his life around, he didn't wait for the world to hand him an opportunity. He created his own path. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Taking responsibility for your life, regardless of your past, is the first step to reclaiming your power. Another critical element is setting new goals. Goggins didn't let his past dictate his future. He used it as motivation to push himself further. Think about what you want to achieve and focus on where you're going, not where you've been. Write your goals down, create a plan, and take small, consistent steps toward them. Finally, forgive yourself for your past mistakes. Goggins talks openly about his failures and the times he gave up on himself, but he didn't let those moments define him. Instead, he learned from them and moved forward. The Stoics taught that self-forgiveness is essential for growth. Seneca wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Let go of guilt and regret and focus on the opportunities ahead." Ask yourself, am I letting my past define me, or am I using it to fuel my growth? The past is unchangeable, but your future is entirely in your hands. By choosing to see your struggles as a source of strength and taking control of your narrative, you can transform your life, just as David Goggins did. Let your past be the foundation for your success, not the excuse for your stagnation. 3. Your mind is stronger than you think. David Goggins is known for pushing the boundaries of human potential. But he'll be the first to tell you that physical strength is only part of the equation. The real secret to his resilience lies in the mind. He introduces the concept of the 40% rule, the idea that when you feel like you've hit your limit, you've likely only used about 40% of your actual capacity. The remaining 60% is unlocked by training your mind to overcome self-imposed limits. Goggins didn't start with this unbreakable mental toughness. As he tells it, he was once a man who gave up easily, who let pain and discomfort dictate his actions. But through intentional effort, he rewired his mind to endure hardship, face challenges, and keep pushing long after most people would have stopped. The Stoics understood this principle well. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." They believed that the mind is the most powerful tool we possess, and that mastering it is the key to overcoming life's challenges. The first step to tapping into your mental strength is recognizing your self-imposed limits. How often do you stop short of a goal because it feels uncomfortable, or because you convince yourself it's too hard? These are the walls your mind builds to keep you in your comfort zone. Goggins argues that these walls are illusions, and breaking through them requires deliberate action. To challenge these limits, start by pushing just a little further each time. If you're running and feel like you can't go any farther, push for 1 more minute. If you're studying and feel distracted, commit to 5 more minutes of focus. These small victories teach your mind that you're capable of more than you think. Over time, these incremental steps compound into massive growth. Another powerful strategy Goggins employs is reframing pain and discomfort. Instead of seeing them as obstacles, he views them as opportunities to grow stronger. When you're in the middle of a tough workout, for example, and your body is screaming for you to stop, remind yourself, this is where the growth happens. This is the moment I'm getting stronger. The Stoics called this voluntary discomfort, intentionally exposing yourself to challenges to build resilience. Epictetus said, "Difficulties are things that show a person what they are." Embracing discomfort is how you uncover your true potential. Visualization is another key technique. Goggins often imagined himself succeeding before he even started a challenge. By visualizing the finish line and how it would feel to overcome the odds, he programmed his mind for success. You can do the same. Before tackling a difficult task, picture yourself completing it. See yourself conquering the challenge and savoring the victory. This mental rehearsal strengthens your resolve and makes the goal feel attainable. Self-talk is equally important. The way you speak to yourself shapes your mindset. If you constantly tell yourself, "I can't do this," your brain will believe it. Goggins flipped this script by using empowering affirmations like, "I'm in control," or "I don't stop when it gets hard, I stop when I'm done." Replace negative self-talk with words that inspire and motivate you to keep going. Finally, practice mental resilience in small, everyday ways. Take cold showers, skip a meal occasionally, or choose the harder option when it presents itself. These acts of discipline train your mind to handle discomfort and strengthen your willpower. Over time, these habits make you more resilient in the face of larger challenges. Ask yourself, what limits have I placed on myself, and how can I push past them? How can I train my mind to be stronger, even in small ways? The Stoics and Goggins agree, your mind is far more powerful than you realize. By challenging your limits, reframing discomfort, and mastering your self-talk, you can unlock that untapped potential and achieve greatness. 4. Turn pain into power. Pain is a universal experience. Whether it's physical, emotional, or mental, we all encounter it in some form. David Goggins believes that pain, while inevitable, is also one of the most powerful tools for transformation. Instead of running from it, he teaches us to face it head-on and turn it into a source of strength. As he often says, pain unlocks a secret world most people never see. Goggins' life is a testament to this idea. From enduring an abusive childhood to failing Navy SEAL training multiple times, he faced immense pain. But instead of letting it defeat him, he used it as fuel to push harder and go further. Pain, he realized, wasn't the enemy. It was the catalyst for growth. The Stoics shared a similar perspective. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that pain and challenges are not obstacles, they're opportunities. They force us to dig deeper, learn more about ourselves, and emerge stronger. The first step to turning pain into power is changing how you perceive it. Most people see pain as something to avoid, but Goggins teaches us to embrace it. Pain isn't permanent. It's a moment in time, and how you respond to it determines its impact. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" This simple shift transforms pain from something that holds you back into something that propels you forward. When you're in the midst of pain, it's natural to want to quit. Goggins calls this moment the decision point. It's the point where most people give up, but it's also the point where true growth begins. The next time you face pain, whether it's during a workout, a difficult conversation, or a tough life situation, pause and ask yourself, "Can I push just a little further?" Often you'll find that you can. Another way to harness pain is by reframing it as a necessary part of the process. Goggins often reminds himself that pain is temporary, but the lessons it teaches last forever. For example, if you're struggling through a challenging project, remind yourself that the frustration you feel now will lead to greater skills and confidence in the future. The Stoics called this amor fati, or the love of fate, the idea that every experience, including pain, is an opportunity to grow. Reflection is also key. After enduring a painful experience, take time to analyze what it taught you. Goggins often reflects on his most challenging moments, finding lessons and insights that help him improve. Ask yourself, what did this pain reveal about my limits, strengths, or priorities? How can I use this knowledge to grow? Writing these reflections in a journal can help solidify the lessons and guide you through future challenges. Finally, share your story. Goggins uses his experiences to inspire others, showing that pain can be a powerful teacher when approached with the right mindset. By sharing your journey, whether through conversation, writing, or mentorship, you not only help others, but also reinforce your own growth. The Stoics and Goggins agree that pain is an unavoidable part of life, but it doesn't have to define you. Instead of running from it, lean into it, learn from it, and let it shape you into a stronger, wiser, and more resilient person. Ask yourself, what pain am I facing right now, and how can I use it to grow? What lesson is hidden within this challenge? Remember, pain isn't the end. It's the beginning of something greater. Turn it into your power, and there will be no limit to what you can achieve. 5. Master your self-talk. The way you speak to yourself shapes your reality. For David Goggins, mastering self-talk was one of the most transformative lessons in his journey, from a defeated, overweight young man to one of the toughest people on the planet. He learned that the voice in your head can either be your biggest ally or your harshest critic, and the choice is entirely yours. Before Goggins learned to control his self-talk, He constantly told himself he wasn't good enough. Words like, "You'll never make it," "You're not smart enough," or "This is too hard," played on repeat in his mind. These negative thoughts created a cycle of self-doubt and inaction, holding him back from reaching his potential. But when he decided to take control of his inner dialogue, everything changed. The Stoics understood the importance of self-talk long before Goggins. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Your thoughts are the foundation of your reactions, and learning to shape them can change how you approach challenges, setbacks, and opportunities. To master your self-talk, start by becoming aware of the words you use with yourself. Pay attention to the tone and content of your inner dialogue, especially when you're faced with difficulty. Are your thoughts supportive or self-defeating? For example, if you're struggling with a task, do you think, "I'll never figure this out"? Or do you remind yourself, "This is hard, but I've overcome worse before"? Awareness is the first step to change. Next, challenge negative thoughts as they arise. Goggins describes these as lies of the mind, false narratives that convince you to quit or settle for less. When you catch yourself thinking, "I'm not good enough," counter it with evidence of your abilities. "I've succeeded before, and I can do it again." This practice rewires your brain to focus on your strengths rather than your limitations. Positive affirmations are another powerful tool. Goggins often uses phrases like, "I'm in control," or "I don't stop when it gets hard, I stop when I'm done." These affirmations serve as mental anchors, grounding you in confidence and determination when doubts arise. Create your own affirmations based on your goals and values and repeat them daily, especially during challenging moments. Visualization is also key to mastering self-talk. Before tackling a tough task, close your eyes and imagine yourself succeeding. Picture every step of the process and how it will feel to accomplish your goal. This mental rehearsal not only boosts your confidence, but also trains your mind to focus on possibilities rather than obstacles. Goggins emphasizes the importance of brutal honesty in self-talk. This doesn't mean tearing yourself down. It means holding yourself accountable. When he looks in the mirror, he doesn't sugarcoat the truth about his performance or effort. Instead, he uses honesty as a motivator. "This isn't your best. You can do better." The Stoics valued this kind of self-accountability, with Marcus Aurelius advising, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." Another strategy is to replace complaints with action-oriented thoughts. Instead of saying, "This is too hard," shift to, "What's one thing I can do to move forward?" This simple change transforms your mindset from passive to proactive, helping you approach challenges with determination rather than defeat. Finally, make self-talk a daily practice. Just as you train your body through exercise, you must train your mind through consistent effort. Start each day with a positive mantra or a reflection on your goals. End the day by reviewing your successes and identifying areas for improvement. Over time, this habit strengthens your mental resilience and builds a foundation of confidence. Ask yourself, what does my self-talk sound like right now? Am I lifting myself up or tearing myself down? The way you speak to yourself matters more than you realize. By mastering your self-talk, you gain the power to overcome doubt, push through challenges, and achieve things you never thought possible. Just as Goggins turned his inner critic into his biggest supporter, you can transform your thoughts into a force that drives you toward greatness. Sixth discipline beats motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the wind. You might wake up one morning feeling ready to tackle the world, but by the next day, that fire has fizzled out. Discipline, however, is steady. It doesn't depend on how you feel or what mood you're in. David Goggins learned this the hard way. If you rely on motivation to reach your goals, you'll fail more often than you succeed. The key to real progress is building discipline, doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Goggins often talks about how motivation failed him in the past. He'd get excited about a new goal, only to give up the moment things got hard. It wasn't until he embraced discipline that he started to see real change. For him, discipline wasn't about perfection. It was about showing up every day and putting in the work, no matter what. The Stoics shared this philosophy. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, 'I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for?'" The Stoics believed that discipline is part of our nature. It's how we fulfill our purpose and live with integrity. So, how do you cultivate discipline? Start by setting a clear routine. Discipline thrives on structure. Goggins is known for his strict daily schedule, which includes physical training, mental preparation, and time for reflection. You don't have to follow his extreme regimen, but creating a consistent routine, even for small tasks, can help you build discipline over time. For example, decide to wake up at the same time every day, or dedicate 30 minutes to a specific goal, like learning a new skill or exercising. Another key is focusing on small, consistent actions. Goggins emphasizes that discipline isn't about huge, dramatic changes. It's about doing the little things day in and day out. If you want to build strength, start with 10 push-ups a day and gradually increase the number. If you want to read more, commit to just 5 pages daily. These small actions might not feel like much in the moment, but over time, they add up to significant progress. Discipline also requires embracing discomfort. Goggins says, "If you can get through doing things you hate to do, on the other side is greatness." This doesn't mean you have to love every task. Discipline is about doing it anyway. For example, you might not enjoy waking up early to exercise, but the discipline to stick to it leads to improved health, energy, and confidence. The Stoics called this voluntary hardship, intentionally doing hard things to strengthen your mind and body. Accountability is another powerful tool. Share your goals with someone who will hold you accountable, or track your progress in a journal. Goggins used his accountability mirror to remind himself of what he needed to do each day. Seeing those goals written down kept him focused and disciplined, even when he didn't feel motivated. One of the biggest barriers to discipline is the temptation to quit when progress feels slow. The Stoics remind us that patience is part of the process. Seneca wrote, "Great things take time. Nothing of value is achieved overnight. Trust the process and stay consistent, even when results aren't immediately visible. Over time, your efforts will compound, and the results will speak for themselves." Finally, celebrate small victories. Discipline isn't just about grinding through tasks. It's about recognizing the progress you're making. Goggins would often reflect on how far he'd come, using those milestones as fuel to keep going. Rewarding yourself for sticking to your routine reinforces the habit and keeps you motivated for the long haul. Ask yourself, am I relying on motivation or am I building discipline? What small steps can I take today to stay consistent with my goals? The truth is, motivation will fail you, but discipline won't. By committing to discipline, you gain the power to push through challenges, build resilience, and achieve the life you've always envisioned. Just as Goggins transformed his life through discipline, you can too. Step out of your comfort zone. Your comfort zone is safe, familiar, and predictable, but it's also where dreams go to die. David Goggins often says that real growth only happens when you intentionally push yourself into discomfort. It's in those moments of struggle, doubt, and fear that you discover what you're truly capable of. The Stoics echoed this sentiment, believing that discomfort is not something to avoid, but something to embrace if we want to build resilience and achieve greatness. For Goggins, the comfort zone represented the life he wanted to escape. When he was overweight and unmotivated, staying comfortable meant staying stuck. Breaking free required him to face challenges that terrified him, from grueling workouts to Navy SEAL training. He didn't enjoy the pain, but he knew it was necessary to become the person he wanted to be. The first step to stepping out of your comfort zone is recognizing its limits. Ask yourself, where in my life am I choosing ease over growth? What opportunities am I missing because I'm afraid of discomfort? For example, you might avoid public speaking because it feels scary, or you might stick with a job you've outgrown because it's familiar. Identifying these areas is the first step toward change. Once you've identified where you're stuck, start small. You don't have to leap out of your comfort zone all at once. Take gradual steps. For example, if you're afraid of public speaking, start by speaking up in small group meetings. If you're out of shape, begin with a 10-minute workout. These small actions build confidence and momentum, making bigger challenges feel more achievable. The Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort to prepare for life's challenges. Seneca recommended occasionally living with less, wearing simple clothes, eating basic meals, or forgoing luxuries. He said, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" This practice helps you realize that discomfort is temporary and far less frightening than you imagine. Another powerful strategy is reframing discomfort as a sign of progress. Goggins often reminds himself that when he feels uncomfortable, he's growing. The next time you're tempted to retreat into your comfort zone, ask yourself, what will I gain if I push through this? How will this discomfort make me stronger? By focusing on the benefits, you can rewire your brain to see challenges as opportunities rather than threats. Visualization is another tool to help you step out of your comfort zone. Before attempting something difficult, picture yourself succeeding. Imagine the steps you'll take and how you'll feel when you've achieved your goal. This mental rehearsal builds confidence and reduces fear, making it easier to act. Accountability can also keep you on track. Share your goals with a trusted friend or mentor who will encourage you to push beyond your limits. Goggins often relied on others to hold him accountable, whether it was a training partner or a commanding officer. Their support kept him moving forward, even when he wanted to quit. One of the hardest parts of stepping out of your comfort zone is dealing with failure. The Stoics teach that failure is not something to fear, but something to learn from. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Each failure is a lesson that brings you closer to success, as long as you're willing to reflect and adapt." Finally, make stepping out of your comfort zone a habit. Don't wait for big moments to challenge yourself. Look for small opportunities every day. Take a new route to work, strike up a conversation with a stranger, or try a hobby that scares you. These small acts of courage build the mental toughness you need to face larger challenges with confidence. Ask yourself, What's one thing I can do today to step out of my comfort zone? How will this discomfort help me grow? The Stoics and Goggins agree, comfort is the enemy of progress. By embracing discomfort, you unlock your potential, build resilience, and move closer to the life you've always wanted. The greatest rewards are waiting for you, just beyond your comfort zone. 8. Embrace challenges instead of avoiding them. Challenges are an inevitable part of life, but most of us spend a lot of energy trying to avoid them. We want the easy path, the smooth ride, and the guarantee of success without the struggle. David Goggins, however, teaches the opposite. Embrace challenges because they are the crucible that shapes you into a stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of yourself. For Goggins, challenges weren't just obstacles, they were opportunities to grow. Whether it was enduring Navy SEAL training or running ultramarathons in brutal conditions, he actively sought out situations that tested his limits. Why? Because he knew that every challenge he faced made him tougher, mentally and physically. He often says, "The path to success will leave you calloused, bruised, and very tired. It will also leave you empowered." The Stoics shared a similar mindset. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Challenges are not roadblocks, they are stepping stones. Every difficulty you encounter contains a lesson, but you have to be willing to face it to uncover its value. So how do you embrace challenges rather than avoid them? Start by shifting your perspective. Instead of viewing challenges as unfair burdens, see them as opportunities to grow. Ask yourself, what can this situation teach me? How can this challenge make me stronger? For example, a difficult project at work might seem overwhelming, but it could also teach you new skills and build your confidence. A strained relationship might be painful, but it could also help you develop patience and communication. The next step is to face challenges head-on. Avoidance might feel easier in the moment, but it only delays growth. If you're afraid of failure, remember that failing isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the process. Goggins often says, "Failure is the ultimate test of life." It's life asking you, how bad do you want this? When you embrace failure as a teacher, you strip it of its power to hold you back. The Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, or preparation for the worst. This exercise involves imagining the challenges and setbacks you might face so you can approach them with calm and readiness. Before starting a new endeavor, take a moment to visualize potential obstacles and how you'll respond. For example, if you're preparing for a presentation, imagine technical issues or tough questions from the audience. How will you handle these situations with poise? By mentally rehearsing challenges, you build confidence and resilience. Another strategy is to break challenges into smaller, manageable steps. Goggins didn't start running 100-mile ultra-marathons overnight. He built up to them gradually. If a challenge feels overwhelming, focus on the first small step you can take. For instance, if you're trying to write a book, start with 1 paragraph a day. Each small victory builds momentum and makes the larger challenge feel less daunting. Surrounding yourself with the right people can also help. Goggins emphasizes the importance of a calloused mind, but he also acknowledges the value of a strong support system. Seek out mentors, friends, or colleagues who will encourage you to face challenges and hold you accountable. Their belief in you can inspire you to keep going when the going gets tough. Finally, reflect on past challenges and how you overcame them. Think about the times when you faced difficulty but persevered. What did you learn? How did you grow? These reflections remind you of your strength and give you confidence to tackle new challenges. Ask yourself, am I running from challenges, or am I embracing them as opportunities to grow? How can I face this situation with courage and determination? The Stoics and Goggins agree. Challenges are not barriers, they are gateways to greatness. By leaning into the difficulties you face, you transform not only your circumstances, but also yourself. Every challenge is a chance to become stronger, wiser, and more capable than you were before. Embrace them, and you'll find that the path to success is paved with the obstacles you overcome. 9. Set big goals and break them down. Dreaming big is essential, but achieving those dreams requires a plan. David Goggins teaches us that while ambition is important, it's the small, consistent steps you take every day that turn massive goals into reality. He says, most people think too small because they're afraid of failure. Dream big, but break it down so it doesn't scare you. The secret to achieving greatness is to set bold goals and then create actionable steps to reach them. Goggins is no stranger to big goals. From transforming his body to complete Navy SEAL training to setting world records for endurance feats, he has tackled challenges most would find impossible. But he didn't wake up one day and run 100 miles or do 4,000 pull-ups. Instead, he broke those massive goals into manageable tasks, focusing on one step at a time. The Stoics also believed in setting goals that aligned with your higher purpose. Seneca wrote, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." Having a clear vision gives your life direction, but clarity alone isn't enough. You must translate that vision into daily actions to make it a reality. The first step is to define your big goal. What do you truly want to achieve? It could be mastering a skill, improving your health, building a business, or strengthening relationships. Write it down. Be specific and bold. Don't limit yourself with doubts or fears of failure. This goal should excite and challenge you, pushing you to grow beyond your current limits. Once your goal is set, break it down into smaller, achievable milestones. For example, if your goal is to run a marathon, your first milestone might be running 1 mile without stopping. Then, increase your distance gradually each week. These smaller milestones make the larger goal feel less intimidating and keep you motivated as you see progress. Goggins emphasizes the importance of consistency over perfection. He says, "You don't have to be the best every day, but you do have to show up every day. Create a daily routine that incorporates actions toward your goal, no matter how small. If you're writing a book, commit to writing 300 words a day. If you're building a business, dedicate an hour each evening to planning or research." These small, consistent efforts compound over time, turning your dream into reality. Visualization is another powerful tool for staying focused on your big goals. Goggins often visualized himself succeeding before he even started. Picture yourself at the finish line, achieving your dream. Imagine the feelings of pride, accomplishment, and joy. Visualization keeps your goal vivid in your mind and strengthens your commitment. Accountability is crucial. Share your goal with someone you trust, a friend, mentor, or coach, and ask them to hold you accountable. Goggins used his accountability mirror to remind himself of his goals and keep track of his progress. You can do the same by placing visual cues in your environment, like sticky notes or a progress tracker, to keep your goal front and center. Prepare for setbacks. Goggins warns that the road to big goals is rarely smooth. There will be moments of doubt, failure, and frustration. The key is to anticipate these challenges and plan how you'll respond. The Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, visualizing obstacles to build resilience. Ask yourself, what could go wrong, and how will I overcome it? This mindset ensures that setbacks won't derail you. They'll become part of your growth. Finally, celebrate your progress along the way. Each milestone you achieve is proof that you're capable of more than you thought. Reflect on how far you've come and use those victories as fuel to keep moving forward. As Marcus Aurelius said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Ask yourself, what is my big goal and what small steps can I take today to move closer to it? How can I create a routine that keeps me consistent and focused? Remember, big dreams require bold action, but they're achieved through small, deliberate steps. The Stoics and Goggins agree, with the right mindset and plan, no goal is out of reach. Start today and watch what you can accomplish. 10th, practice gratitude and self-appreciation. In the relentless pursuit of self-improvement, it's easy to overlook what you already have and the progress you've made. David Goggins, despite his intense drive for excellence, emphasizes the importance of practicing gratitude and acknowledging your achievements. Gratitude isn't about settling for less. It's about finding strength in what you've already overcome and using it as a foundation to push forward. Goggins shares that during some of his hardest moments, whether it was enduring grueling Navy SEAL training or pushing through an ultramarathon, he reminded himself of the battles he had already won. He calls this practice the cookie jar. Whenever he felt like giving up, he would mentally reach into his cookie jar and pull out a memory of a past success or challenge he had overcome. This reminded him of his resilience and gave him the energy to keep going. The Stoics also valued gratitude, seeing it as a way to ground oneself in the present and find peace amidst life's challenges. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Gratitude isn't just about appreciating the good moments. It's about finding meaning even in the struggles. To practice gratitude, start by reflecting on the things you're thankful for each day. These don't have to be monumental. Small moments like a kind gesture from a friend or the ability to pursue your goals are just as valuable. Write these down in a journal or simply take a moment to acknowledge them mentally. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant, creating a mindset of positivity and strength. Another way to build gratitude is by appreciating your own growth. Look back at where you started and compare it to where you are now. What challenges have you overcome? What skills have you developed? Goggins often says, "You are the only person who knows what you're truly capable of." By reflecting on your progress, you remind yourself of your resilience and inspire yourself to keep pushing forward. Gratitude also helps you reframe difficult situations. Instead of viewing challenges as setbacks, see them as opportunities to learn and grow. Ask yourself, what is this teaching me? How can I use this experience to become stronger? The Stoics called this amor fati, or the love of fate, the idea that every experience, good or bad, is valuable if approached with the right mindset. Self-appreciation goes hand in hand with gratitude. Often, we're quick to criticize ourselves for mistakes, but slow to acknowledge our accomplishments. Goggins believes in balancing brutal honesty with self-recognition. While he holds himself accountable for his shortcomings, he also takes time to celebrate his wins, no matter how small. You can do the same by acknowledging your efforts, even on days when you fall short. As Seneca wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction. nor a man perfected without trials. Visualization is another powerful tool for cultivating gratitude and self-appreciation. Picture your future self looking back on today's efforts with pride. Imagine how the hard work you're putting in now will pay off in the long run. This forward-thinking gratitude keeps you motivated and focused on your journey. Finally, share your gratitude with others. Goggins often reflects on the people who supported him along the way, expressing gratitude for their role in his success. Whether it's thanking a mentor, encouraging a friend, or showing kindness to a stranger, expressing gratitude strengthens your connections and spreads positivity. Ask yourself, what am I grateful for today? What progress have I made that I can appreciate? How can I use gratitude to fuel my journey forward? The Stoics and Goggins remind us that gratitude isn't just a feel-good practice, it's a source of strength, resilience, and clarity. By focusing on what you have and what you've achieved, you equip yourself to tackle life's challenges with a clear mind and a full heart. Practice gratitude daily, and you'll find that success is not just about reaching the destination, it's about appreciating the journey. Your mind is your most powerful tool. Learn to control it, and nothing can hold you back. Throughout this episode, we've explored lessons from David Goggins and Stoic philosophy that teach us how to master our thoughts, face our fears, and overcome the obstacles that life throws at us. Whether it's embracing discomfort, breaking free from self-imposed limits, or finding strength in gratitude, the power to transform your life begins and ends with your mindset. Each of these lessons is a step toward becoming stronger, more resilient, and more in tune with your true potential. But remember, knowledge is only as powerful as the action you take. Apply these principles to your daily life, even in small ways, and watch how your mindset shifts. You'll discover that challenges aren't roadblocks. They're stepping stones to a better version of yourself. Thank you for joining me on this journey of growth and self-discovery. If this episode resonated with you, don't forget to share it with someone who needs to hear it. Let's continue to learn, grow, and push ourselves beyond what we thought possible. Until next time, stay disciplined, stay determined, and remember, the only limits that exist are the ones you allow. You're capable of more than you imagine, and the journey starts in your mind. Keep going. You've got this.